Hello, fellow scholars and professor. Today we are going to be discussing the life and the works of Socrates. Socrates lived a life of many different challenges and faced many obstacles throughout his life, and he was able to overcome so much adversity through his life and still fight true to his cause. So here's a presentation created by me, Jack, and Aaliyah. Thank you. Hope you enjoy.
Socrates throughout his life. So Socrates throughout his early life, he was born in 470 BCE and he died in 399 BCE. As a person, he was described as extremely ugly by his students and fellow scholars, so much so that they would make jokes about him behind his back and sometimes in front of him. It just became a thing people do in Athens. He lived in Athens at the same time as the Sophists until he joined the military. And during his time in the military, he would travel to many places, many campaigns outside of Athens. He spent most of his days wandering around questioning theories of other people, and this would get him in trouble, basically, and have people not like him. His theories laid groundwork for Western philosophy, as we all know. His methods, his questions, his wisdom, we still use today, and it's the whole entire groundwork. Early life continued. As we said, he joined the military, and he had multiple campaigns throughout the Peloponnesian War. During one campaign, he saved a really popular thing in general, and he was hailed as a hero, very popular after that. He was described by Plato as a very good soldier. He was also described that by Xenophon, which is another student of his, a historian. But all this was about duty to Socrates, and duty was a very big part of it, as it was his duty as a citizen of Athens to serve in the army. Later in life, soon he became an educator for many, and he was named the wisest man in Athens by the oracle at Delphi. We know the story of the oracle, and how he would teach many different people at the same time. He would become a magnet for younger people with his ideas and how he approached subjects. For him, philosophy was a critical examination of our knowledge. Philosophy was very much so about knowledge, how we get it, our mind, how it interacts. It's not all about how do I look the best, how I perform the best. It was all about how do I improve my intellect. This is, as he said, emphasize the importance of mind over the body. His death. Socrates will die in 399 after his execution. His method of questioning people would anger a lot. He would make senators, elites, politicians, make them look foolish in front of crowds of people. He'd question them. Ultimately, these people would accuse him of corruption of the youth and failing to follow the religion of Athens. Socrates chose to defend himself during his trial, and his speech was recorded by Plato in the Apology of Socrates. We read that in class also, as many of us would know. Ultimately, he would be found guilty and sentenced to death by drinking poison. Interesting fact is that he could put forth an idea of punishment, and he refused the idea of exile, as he did not want to leave Athens, as it was his home. He would also refuse offers for him to escape. When he was being held, people offered to bribe guards, fight, get him out of there, and he refused each time, saying it's his duty to abide by the law of Athens, and that he was not going to try to change anyone's mind after this verdict was passed. His effects after death. Plato would go on to become one of the great philosophers of our time. and he was a very vocal student of Socrates. He would go on to found the first school of higher education for the Western world. He would write many works. A lot of them are popular. He's considered the father of philosophy, considered the father of idealism. He would expand on different ideas and really expand our knowledge of philosophy as he helped get it off the ground with Socrates. He would later teach Aristotle, the first scientist, with his observation skills and testing, and Aristotle would also become one of the greatest philosophers as he would expand on more knowledge after Plato and Socrates. Socrates' beliefs and attributes. The Socratic method is one of the most important things Socrates made or developed. The method compelled people to think through a problem to reach a logical conclusion rather than giving up. It was a system of questions. You get answer to your questions and they lead you to an answer. Answer right or wrong doesn't matter, it will get you there. Socrates claimed to be ignorant to problems and having no questions to such problems. This caused him to be seen as the wisest person in Athens by many people, as he knew nothing. He admitted he knew nothing, while these people admit they know something, but they don't know anything. So, is he the wisest? Is he not? That was the debate at the time. And since he made these people look foolish out in public, many people turned to him and loved him. He pointed out that human choice was motivated by desire for happiness, not by anything else. People wanted to be happy and they would choose anything that would make them the happiest. And through this, that was a major thing. The bad side of this method, of course, style of thinking made his enemies look foolish. He challenged them in public, their way of life, many different things, embarrassed them out in public in front of other people, as I said, rivals, enemies that ultimately led to his death.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah and I will be discussing Socrates' contributions and the influences he had on others. Socrates was one of the three greatest Greek figures in Western philosophy. Socrates inspired many Athenians to the idea of freedom of speech and to speak out against the know your worth ideology that Greece had put in place. They had put a ruling in place that stated only those higher up or royalty could speak out or speak their minds. He was the first person to be named the wisest man in Athens after he challenged many Athenians to question what things are or why things are a certain way. He then later became Plato's teacher in 469 BCE and taught him all about ethics and even inspired the ideas of Aristotle. He did not only inspire those in Athens or Aristotle and Plato, but he also inspired people such as Martin Luther King. King used his ideas about knowledge and started to question why things are or why we believe things are, or if we're just believing them because that's what we were taught throughout our life.
Hello everyone. As we have seen throughout today's presentation, Socrates lived a very extravagant life like not many others have, from being a war hero, politician, philosopher, mentor, and really laid his after effects and his work are still viable in today's world and have a long-lasting effect throughout today. Socrates left behind many notable apprentice such as Plato, and we all know of Socrates and Plato and their work and how viable it is to not only philosophy yet world history and modern day society. Throughout Socrates' life, he's seen a lot. He was one of the most influential, if not arguably the single most influential philosopher, not only of his time, but throughout world history, with very few others on the list. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.